Hello and welcome to Astro Hi-Fi. My name is Gabby Turner, and in this video we're going to be exploring this article by Madame Lichtenstein. It's called Astrology in Action, Pluto in Capricorn, Looking Ahead to the Next Generation. And then we see here this little blurb from the article. It says Pluto has just entered Capricorn, and this article highlights what we might expect for the next generational decade. So she's viewing Pluto and Capricorn as a generation in and of itself. A generational decade, not a decade in terms of years, because it lasted for about 2 decades. But in any case, I haven't read this article yet. So I just kind of wanted to do a video where I read through the article and sort of give my thoughts along the way, because I've also been and by the way, this is available for free to read on Amazon. I'll provide the link to it below in the description. So I'm not taking any revenue away from the author. It's already being listed as free content. So I think that means the author wants this to be read by people. But in any case, I've been thinking a lot, and I have my own separate video where I did a sort of retrospective of Pluto and Capricorn in relation to banking crisis and other things. But yeah, I mean, I think it would be interesting to look back at like what was in our minds as astrologers when we're trying to read the symbols of these things going into it, and trying to judge based on the symbols and what we might note of in history the last time Pluto transited, Capricorn in this case. These are ways that we try to kind of think about what the upcoming transit is going to bring us. So I think looking at this kind of gives us a mind into the mindset of an astrologer as well, of how we sort of process and determine, based on these methods of looking at some symbolic combinations of energies, as well as what historically this transit has brought in order to make predictions. So let's see what she predicted or assumed that Pluto and Capricorn was going to bring during this transit that we're now coming out of. That lasted from 2008 until 2004, although we've tipped out of it for the moment. As I'm recording this, we've tipped out of it into Aquarius, but we'll go back for a little bit into Capricorn before we're completely through with it. So it is kind of like, I think, my interest in thinking back about Pluto and Capricorn, it's the nostalgia you feel when something is coming to an end. Like if you have a graduation coming up, maybe you would have moments where you share memories of the years, leading up to that or something. We're graduating from Pluto's transcendence into Capricorn. Pluto's deep dive into Capricorn. We're coming up out of that dive to now dive deep into the Aquarian waters. We're not deep into it yet. We're kind of like at the edge of the ocean with Aquarius. But anyway, let's start reading through the article. And it's 68 pages. So this might be a video that's broken up. I don't know, maybe I won't even post this in the end, but I just felt like doing it. All right. Looking ahead to the next generation. Rose Rosenfeld was a young immigrant seamstress at the Triangle Shirtwaist Factory in New York City who survived the famous catastrophic fire there in 1911, while 146 of her co-workers perished. How did she do it? I followed the bosses, she said years later. I figured that they would know how to escape. So I just followed them up onto the roof, across to the next building, and to safety. Follow the bosses. Dot, 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 dot. That's very Plutonic, all of those dots there. For the past 13 years, Pluto, the planet of generational transformation, was transiting independent, ornery, unbridled Sagittarius. Wow, let's remind ourselves there was a time when we were thinking nostalgically and retrospectively about Pluto and Sagittarius. Sagittarius, ruled by lucky Jupiter, is free spending, good time loving, and lucky in games of chance. Risk taking flourished in those years. Little time was spent on creating structure and stability, and, as any expansive Jupiter energy will tell you, bigger, much bigger, is always better. Well, and it is until it's not. Pluto officially moved into fiscally stable, conservative, pessimistic Capricorn in December 2008, but the effects of this most slow-moving planet is always felt a little bit before. And sure enough, starting sometime in the fourth quarter 2009, all the financial chickens had come home to roost. Let me give myself time to think and understand what's being said. Sure enough, starting some... Okay, yeah, so they're talking about like when things went south financially in like 2008, 2009. All of that Sagittarian freewheeling and dealing came to a crashing halt. Ponzi schemes based on high risk faltered, and the fiscal mood turned decidedly sour. Wherever Capricorn is in our chart, as well as its ruling planet, Saturn, it is considered a tough placement because it makes us very serious. It upends the landscape. It creates problems and restricts us in ways that manifest throughout our entire horoscope. Pluto in Capricorn is a generational reckoning where we have to change the way we do things because the old ways are destroyed. Pluto in Capricorn encourages us to change our ways and become more mature and serious. Yes, if we really were able to fully remember, which, after a Pluto transit, it's hard to... You can kind of remember how things used to be, but at the same time, it's hard to fully immerse yourself in it and grasp it because you've eliminated it. Pluto eliminates things. And so Pluto completely extracted you from the way things were back in 2008 before it went into Capricorn. Like if we were able to go back into what was the world's mindset in 2008? How were people thinking back then compared to how we are now? There have been some really significant changes. So yeah, I think when you think of it that way, it really does highlight the degree to which this is, it really is a generational transit. Okay, so, and really we have no choice but to become more mature and serious. Pluto creates irrevocable change because, frankly, change is needed. Pluto is kind of in a way about digestion as well, like it's this type of thing that's like it's needed, like you have to get rid of certain things. It's about death, like things have to die. We don't like to think about that, but like it kind of has to happen. Like that is just the nature of, what it means to be living. But anyway, Pluto cleans the pipes, plows up the front yard, and requires us to do something new, different, and hopefully better and more successful. Capricorn, with its dog-eat-dog view of the world, gets us on the right track, but through very hard work. But here is the big secret to navigating through Pluto and Capricorn. Capricorns are interested in status, their public persona, authority, and the politics that go along with a successful proximity to power. Capricorns may have tough childhoods. They start off badly but finish spectacularly because they learn from hard experience. They get better as they get older, as success comes to them later in life. And it is solid success, not one built on dreams and air. Capricorns follow the bosses. They get their clues to power, status, and success by seeing what works with those in authority. So for the next few years, be cognizant of what the powers that be actually do, rather than what they tell you to do. The bosses offered us high risk and packed mortgages, but how many of them just took out these mortgages for their own homes? Just as Pluto and Capricorn helps give us a stern perspective, we now realize that actions speak louder than words. This is something we should have been aware of all along, but Sagittarius can be naive. Pluto is now in Capricorn. Follow the bosses. I think that's true. The difference between Pluto and Sagittarius versus Pluto and Capricorn is Sagittarius can be really naive. Sagittarius is the most gullible sign because they usually like to give people the benefit of the doubt and think the best. It's a positive, optimistic sign. Capricorn is very much the opposite. Capricorn is very skeptical and pessimistic. So maybe that's part of why this was such a difficult transit. Pluto and Capricorn versus Pluto and Sagittarius, which was fairly pleasant in comparison. I'm not saying there weren't any difficult situations happening with Pluto and Sagittarius, but Pluto and Capricorn really made us dive deep into what it means to be in that Capricorn energy. Of difficulty and harshness. Okay, so now she's got a horoscope for this week in 2009. I'm not sure if we get to, if that was the end of the article there. I mean, that was pretty like, this is not actually, okay, this is not actually 63 pages. Anyway, that's probably for the best. It would be a really long video. Well, this might be interesting to see, like, how did she think that Pluto's entrance into Capricorn would affect the signs? I mean, first of all, what she says here about Pluto and Capricorn, that was very legitimate, because those were, that really did reform the public consciousness in a way about how we looked at bosses and those in charge. You know, if you want to succeed, you've got to do what the bosses are doing. And, you know, we've become more aware of the fact that, let's see, how did she say it? That they, you know, what they're telling us to do isn't necessarily going to be what they're doing themselves. So for the next few years, be cognizant of what the powers that be actually do, rather than what they tell you to do. It's basically be suspicious, which is Plutonic. Be suspicious of bureaucracy. Be suspicious of people who hold this higher tier level of power. All right, so what did she think was happening for each of the signs here? We have Aries. Rams are true bon vivants now. attracting friends and acquaintances with their sharp wit and delightful company. What a nice change of pace. You seem to know all the right moves and can move and shake with the best of them. Don't waste this cosmic spark on selfish advancement unless you decide to share your advances with everybody. And I suppose that's, let's see. So for Aries, Pluto in Capricorn would have been in the 10th house, right? I'm not good at visualizing these types of things. But that one, yes. Pluto in Capricorn would be the 10th house for Aries. For Taurus, it would be what? Do we go backward or forward? I think we go forward, so it would be... Oh man, I have to think. I have to get... Okay, so if Taurus is your first, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Then Capricorn would be your 9th house. Aquarius would be your 10th. Okay. So for Taurus, this is the 9th house. Okay. All right, and she says, career prospects hit a high note this week. Bulls not only find lucky opportunities to show off their stuff, you also charm the bosses into thinking that they and you are pure genius. But back up your charisma with a little moxie and expertise where and when you need it. You will catapult yourself up the corporate ladder. Why ask why? Ask for a raise instead. So I guess she's tipping into the 9th house, sort of generosity or like ability to, receive blessings. Gemini. Your outreach outreaches your immediate grasp, and your global message reaches the hearts and minds of many followers. Good timing, twin. This week is perfect to spread your personal opinions and dreams everywhere. Let your oil flow. You can find that you can convince almost anyone to do anything. What sort of mischief will you conjure? Uh-oh. Yeah, so Gemini is using this Pluto energy in its 8th house. What sort of mischief will you conjure? All right, Cancer. Crabs have a sexual spark that ignites any smoldering fire of passion. It is time for you to set your sights on the one you want and go for it. You exude charisma. While you're at it, try to reach out to well-heeled contacts and see if you can impress them with your acumen. Before you know it, you might be handling someone's account. Is that what we call it now? Leo, even difficult relationships go more smoothly now. Lions are able to sense what the other person really wants and can appear to give it to them. Toss your magical dust in dollops this week. You find that you can blind others with your true motives. Too soon you will reach into your bag of tricks and find only dust bunnies, or even worse, sand. Virgo, no matter how hard you really work, everyone will think that you are putting in a great effort on the job. So draw up a list of priorities and see how far you can go on your good luck and your game face. Somehow things will get done. And even better, they love you no matter what you do, Virgin. This seems too good to be true. Next week it will be. Ahem. Libra, when can fun become too much fun? Let's try and find out. This week Libras discover that there are few limits to their creativity, luck, and ability to romance anyone and everyone. Spread yourself thin among the glitterati and partygoers. Before you know it, this jovial spurt slows and you will have loads of wonderful memories to keep you warm to hot. Scorpio, are there a few things that you would like to accomplish around the house? This is the week to tackle any and all domestic issues. You begin to get things done and can also create bridges with relatives that last. Scorps are not known for compromise, but now you see how bending a little gets others to tip over to your side. Be nice and pack a pillow for them. Sagittarius. Archers now have the gift of gab and use it to their advantage. Find out exactly what you want and carefully strategize how you will achieve it. In fact, opportunities may come to you with a good, creative thought. Your success will be so sweet that you forget that you usually shoot from the lip, with the usual consequences. Think, speak, flourish, then relax. Capricorn, money comes to you more easily this week. Will you squander it or save it for a rainy day? Let's guess. Caps can cement their future by being nice, finding an excellent advisor, asking the right questions, and taking calculated risks. Financial luck is on your side. Next week is another story, however, as you go back to the usual plod and plot with your enemies. With your pennies. Why did I say enemies? I'm bringing my own psychic thoughts into it. As you go back to the usual plod and plot with your pennies. Yeah, so during Pluto and Capricorn, if you're like a Capricorn rising or if you do it sun horoscope style, then Pluto would have been like plowing through your very first house. All right, so Aquarius, you pack more charisma than ever into each square inch this week. Aquarians are ready, willing, and able to meet new folks and sweep them off their feet. You are on charm overdrive. If you have some fresh ideas, give them a tryout with some open ears. Not only do projects take off, they can go farther than you ever expected. So what are you waiting for? So I guess like bringing fuel to Aquarius's 12th house in that way gives you the charm overdrive, like being able to, it's like put a spell, like make an enchantment, enchant yourself to other people. Like, I'm what you've always wished and hoped for. Now I'm here. Pisces, intuitively, so this would be Pluto transiting the 11th house for Pisces. Intuitively, you seem to know just what to do at just the right time. Go with your gut and see where it leads you. Also, charitable efforts pay off for you in unexpected lucky ways. Fish are usually interested in contributing to the greater good, and now is the time to liberally spread your good vibes around town. Pay it forward and don't ask for change. So we'll read about, I'm just going to go ahead and read the author bio here as well. Charlene Lichtenstein, known as Madame Lichtenstein, is the Starry Eye. She is descended from a long line of persons with extraordinary perceptive powers. Her great-aunt, Etta Weimer, was the famous Romanian card reader to both kings and queens. A native of New York City, Lichtenstein was educated in Europe, where she pursued the study of tarot and astrology. She returned to New York and has lived in Greenwich Village ever since, eagerly dispensing advice, whether requested or not. I can relate to that. Her monthly and weekly horoscopes are carried in newspapers and websites around the world. Her pet horoscopes are the rage of Europe, and her movie pick by astrological sign appears on a major women's website. She hosted a weekly online astrology program on the Washington Post Online. Please check out that site for transcripts of her past shows. Wow. Interesting. I wonder if this website still exists. Now, I'm recording this to record the window that I'm on. So if I go to search, I don't know if it'll show you what I'm searching. But anyway, just for myself, I want to see if this website still exists. Like, it's not letting me copy and paste. starryeye.typepad.com. And then / New Age. Yeah, it still exists. Wow. Nice. Okay, so this is very cool. I've never come across this website. It looks like it still has up-to-date content even for 2023. So there you go. Interesting. All right. Well, I hope you had fun with me exploring this astrological content. Let me know what you thought in the comments, and go give a visit to Madame Lichtenstein over here. She's got still some really great horoscopes going on for the current year. The most recent one still for April 3rd, 2023. And ironically, the one that she has posted is for Pluto and Aquarius. So how is Pluto and Aquarius affecting all of the 12 signs? Wow, maybe I'll do a separate video for that. This is great to explore. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you later. Bye-bye.